Okay, good morning, everybody. Can all of you hear me?
Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Okay. Listen, in intermediate, apart from circles, we have another topic, system of circles. Actually, the system of circles, there used to be a lot of concepts, and it used to be quite lengthy chapter. That is till 2012. From 2013 onwards, they removed a major portion of it. Okay. System of circles, coaxial system of circles, orthogonal system of circles, some limiting points, and all that. Okay. After removing that questions or that concepts, what is left is only 2-3 concepts, which actually doesn't belong to system of circles. They belong to circles only, but they just left the chapter like that. So in mains or advanced exam syllabus, if you see, you'll see only circles. You don't find word system of circles, but doesn't mean it's not there. System of circles also is part of circles only. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so circles, all the theory is over. By tomorrow, I want everybody to complete exercise 1E. All right, tomorrow we'll discuss doubts and object to rest of the objectives in circles. You can complete. Total, how many objectives are there in circles? Anybody remembers?
So
Okay.
166 plus 20, sir.
166 plus 20. Okay, all right. So at least by tomorrow, try to up to 100 or 110 by tomorrow, and by day after tomorrow, another 130, something like that. I'll start system of circles topic. It's a very easy one, not difficult, but it's also part of circles. Only we gave in our mains material as a separate topic. Advanced material we gave combined both. Okay. In this topic, the first topic is angle between circles. Anybody remembers in first year, what is the definition of angle between any two curves?
Angle between the tangents at
Yes.
the point.
Angle between the tangents to the curves at the point of intersection is called angle between the curves. Here also same definition. If two circles are intersecting at a point, at that point draw tangent to first circle, draw tangent to second circle. The angle between these two tangents is called angle between the circles. Definition is same, but whatever we learned in first year calculus, we don't use that process to find angle between them. I can find point of intersection. I can find slope of this tangent, and use tangent equal to mod m1 minus m2 by 1 plus m1 m2. That's what we do in general for any curves. If it is for ellipse or hyperbola, maybe I should still do that only. But for circles, we have another simpler version of that without doing all that. So we'll see. So first point, angle between tangents to two curves at their point of intersection is called angle between the curves. Okay. Let us in circles, how can we deal with this? Just write this definition. Angle between two tangents to two curves at their point of intersection is called angle between the curves. Let's say these are two circles. This is the radius of this, and this is tangent to this circle. This is the radius of this, and it is tangent to this circle. Okay, this red line is tangent to this circle, this blue line is tangent to this circle, and we want angle between the tangents, this tangent and this tangent. So this angle is theta. Now, if this angle is theta, can anybody tell me what is this angle?
90 minus theta.
90 minus theta. Because this red line and this red line are perpendicular. This is theta, this has to be 90 minus theta. What is this angle?
90 minus theta only.
Also 90 minus theta, because this blue line and this blue line are perpendicular. If this is theta, this has to be 90 minus theta. Okay. Now from this radius to this radius, I want to know what is the complete angle from here to here. That will be 90 minus theta plus 90 minus theta will be 180 minus theta. 90 minus theta plus theta plus 90 minus theta, which is 180 minus. So basically what happened? This is one center, this is another center. A is one of the points of intersection. If angle between the tangents is theta, angle between the two radius is 180 minus theta. This is R1, this is R2, and this is T. An angle between the tangents is theta. Angle between the two corresponding radius is 180. I'll apply cosine rule in this, I'll get formula for theta. Cos 180 minus theta. We have cos A equal to B square plus C square minus A square by 2AC, like that. We will get R1 square plus R2 square minus B square by 2 R1 R2. But this is minus cos theta. You can send minus cos theta equal to R1 square plus R2 square minus B square by 2 R1. You send it minus there. We got cos theta equal to D square minus R1 square minus R2 square by 2 R1 R2. Okay, this is a formula for angle between two circles, provided you should know D, distance between the centers, and R1 and R2, the corresponding radius. Those are absent yesterday for afternoon class, part of the time or fully. Please watch that video, because we discussed exercise 1C, 1D doubts. The last question, last one or two questions, we discussed some few concepts there. And in mains also, we discussed some doubts which are very important, especially the pole and polar and related locus questions. That's where some people can get confused. So those who missed the class, please watch the recording and make a note of all those solutions. Okay, anybody any doubt about how we derived this? Any part of the solution here? Okay. Normally, if I take two curves, the angle between the curves here, angle between the curves here need not be seen. At one point of intersection, you can have one angle between the curves. At another point of intersection, you can have another angle. But circle, I think from symmetry, we can tell the angle between tangents at A will be same as angle between tangents at B. Okay, I'm erasing this. Anybody needs more time?
1 minute.
Okay, same formula we are writing another way. So writing in terms of D, R1, R2, R1 and R2, we can write in terms of GFC and G dash, F dash, C dash. Let us take the two circles as x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 2g dash x plus 2f dash x plus c dash. That's it. Then in the place of D, which is distance between the centers, this center is minus c comma minus f. This center is minus z dash comma minus f dash. You can apply distance formula. This is R1 square and this is R2 square. And you simplify it, you will get this. So you can remember this, but remember this also both. In exam which you like, you can use it, but try to remember both. Okay. If the two circles are S equal to S dash equal to 0, it's a formula just one step before that deriving. d square minus r1 square minus r2 square by 2r1 r2. Okay, I'm sure in first year tangents and normals you had this. Two curves are intersecting each other orthogonally. You can write circles or you can write curves also. Two curves are said to be intersecting each other orthogonally if tangents to two curves at the point of intersection are perpendicular. Basically, angle between the curves, if it is 90 degrees, that is angle between the tangent, we say they are intersecting each other orthogonally. In the case of circle, let us see what happens. If two circles s equal to 0 and s dash equal to 0 are intersecting orthogonally, then d square equal to r1 square plus r2 square or 2g g dash plus 2f f dash equal to c plus c. Okay, if d is the distributive centers and r1 r2 are the radius, according to that cos theta formula, cos 90 is 0, so numerator should be 0. You get d square equal to r1 square plus r2 square. If you put 90 degrees in the 0, then the numerator should be 0, and this on the other side. You get 2g g dash plus 2f f dash equal to c plus c. This last formula, 2g g dash plus 2f f dash equal to c plus c dash, we'll be using it so many times. Okay. Okay, is it clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Saket completed copying this whole thing?
Yes, sir.
I am not able to hear anybody's voice.
Yes, sir.
Nitin Tarak, are you there?
Can't
Please
you hear
respond.
me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sriharsha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Sriharsha, can you speak once?
Sir. Hello.
Just a minute. Okay, all of you are able to hear me now clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, earlier you were not speaking, but I am not able to hear. Okay, we are dealing with these instruments, so sometimes it happens. All right. Anybody any doubt here?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So when I gave the explanation, you are able to hear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We were able to hear your voice.
Okay. In the beginning, we have drawn one figure for showing what is the angle between the circles. But I want to understand orthogonality separately. Okay. Okay, don't draw this first figure. I'll erase it and draw one more figure. Normally, this is the radius and this is the tangent. And this is the radius and this is the tangent. And we showed how this is theta, this is 90 minus theta, this is 90 minus theta. And the total angle is 180 minus theta. If that 180 minus theta is 90 degrees, we say they are orthogonal. That means theta should be 90. If this becomes 90, what will happen to the 90 minus theta?
0.
0. This also should be 0. That means this radius and this tangent should be same. This radius and this tangent should be same. So when they're intersecting orthogonally, what happens? Purposely I am drawing two perpendicular lines first. Okay, this center is somewhere here if I draw properly. And this center somewhere here. So this line, it is simultaneously tangent to the second circle at the same time the radius of the first circle, diameter of the first circle or normal to the first circle. This line tangent to the first circle and the second circle is the radius or diameter or normal. Okay. And you know one radius and one tangent are always perpendicular. So what happens is when they are intersecting orthogonally at this point, the tangent of first circle passes to center of second circle and the tangent of second circle should pass to center of first circle, because if a tangent to the first circle has to be normal to the second circle, and normal means for a circle it should pass through center. Okay. So after writing this condition, I want everybody to draw this figure. That means mainly you can just draw two circles, no problem, and join here, join here. This angle should be 90. This should be not only radius, it should be tangent to this circle. This should be not only radius here, it should be tangent to this circle. So this is D, this is R1, this is R2, this is C1, this is C2, and this is AS. C1, C2 square equal to C1A square plus C2A, which is D square equal to R1 square plus R2 square. Okay, so after this last point, please draw this figure and write this. Tangent at A to circle 1 passes through center of circle 2. That is, it is normal to circle. Okay. Let me ask a question. Let us see if somebody will answer this. I have a circle. I'll give you its equation. X square plus y square minus 4x minus 6y minus 12. Some equation. There's a point, let us say 9, 12. I want a circle with this as the center. But that circle should intersect this circle orthogonally. So what is the radius I should take? I'm looking for a circle with this as the center and a particular radius, which I wanted to find, so that that circle and this circle will intersect each other orthogonally. Anybody want to give an idea how to find that radius?
Sir, first find the distance between the centers and square of the distance between centers minus radius of that circle.
Yes. You know this center, you can find D. You know R2, put it here, we'll get R1. Anybody want to tell anything else?
Length of the tangent.
Yes, excellent. Simply find length of tangent from this point to this one. Why? If I give you this point and give this circle and ask this length, what is this length? It is nothing but length of tangent from C1 to the second circle. Right? You can even make a note of that here. Here R1, which is equal to C1A, is equal to length of tangent from C1 to circle 2. Similarly, R2, which will be C2A, is equal to length of tangent from C2 to circle 1. Okay, you don't have to write in the notes, but I want somewhere in the rougher column you do this third question on the screen. Exercise 2A, section 1, first one in that third question. They gave two circles and they say they're intersecting orthogonally and you have to find K value. So use the formula 2G G dash plus 2F F dash equal to C plus C dash. Can you find K value somewhere in the rougher? Can tell me what will come?
One, sir.
Chandni, are you there in the class?
So yes.
Okay, your voice is not that clear. It's okay. Harashrikar, are you there in the class? Harashrikar? Varshit, are you there in the class? Nolu Nitin, are you there in the class? Neha? Preeti Sunanda Naik, are you there in the class? Whomever I'm asking, I think they are not there. All right. Nitin Tarak,
Yes, sir.
you got the answer?
Trying one second.
Okay, can you help me here? What is G value? For the first circle, what is the G value?
0.
No, I'm talking about third question here.
Okay, so one second. -5.
-5/2. And what is G dash for the second circle?
1.
1. And F for the first circle?
-7.
-7. And F dash for the second circle?
2.
Constant for the first circle -34 and second circle is K. I think we'll get K value from this. How much you are getting K value from this?
1.
-5 -28 plus 34. Okay, it's coming 1. Okay. So I think like that you can do other questions also. Just giving an idea on this. Okay, if you see on the screen on the top two questions, second one, they gave two circles and asked angle between them. So they are not saying they're orthogonal. Angle may be something else. So you can use any one of the formula. You can find D and R1 and R2 and use cos theta equal to D square minus R1 square minus R2 square, that formula. Or C plus C dash minus 2G G dash minus 2F F dash. It's up to you. Whereas in the third question, they gave the angle and they're asking about the A value, I think. Or no, they're also same, angle between the circles. Again, fourth one, we have to show that they're intersecting. So simply find 2G G dash plus 2F F dash separately, C plus C dash separately, they will come same. That's it. One important thing, for example, if you have 3x square plus 3y square, I think you should divide with 3 and then only you can apply this formula. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll just purposely went a little forward. Look at on the screen, fifth question. They gave 3 circles. They want a circle intersect in the first circle also orthogonally, second one also orthogonally, third one also orthogonally. Anybody want to give an idea how to proceed with that question?
Sir, we can just find the centers and then substitute in the equation 2G G dash plus 2F F dash equal to C plus C dash. Then we will get 3 equations.
Yes. Simply take the required circle as x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2f plus c equal to 0. Don't have to find centers separately. Just apply that formula, orthogonality condition, 2g g dash plus 2f f dash equal to c plus c dash. You will get 3 equations, one for the first circle, one for second one for third one, and 3 unknowns. You will get it. Okay. So this is a standard procedure. It's very easy actually. Okay. Okay, now section 2, first question. There are 2 questions in that. What is that? They want a circle passing through origin and intersecting the 2 given circles orthogonally. How will you do this? Again, same procedure. Take a general circle x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2f plus c equal to 0, passing through origin one condition, orthogonality to first circle one condition, second circle another condition. We'll get 3 equations and 3 unknowns. If it is next question, instead of origin, they said you should pass through 0, -3. So substitute 0, -3. Okay, you will get it. Even look at the third question. They said it should pass through origin, center should lie on so and so line, and it should intersect orthogonally so and so circle. Again, take general circle, substitute origin, one condition, center should lie on the so and so line, one condition. It should intersect orthogonally, another condition. Again, 3 equations and 3 unknowns. So, whenever you want a circle equation, you should know 3 things: G, F, C. So, obviously, they'll give 3 conditions in the question to find those GFC values. Okay, Navadip, tell me how will you do 4th question? Are you there, K Navadip? No response. Okay. Putin, are you there? Oh, sorry, Puneet, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry. Russian president came to mind somehow. Okay. Yeah, how will you do 4th question? Are you telling some answer? Reading the question.
Sir,
Ah.
we take the general equation of the circle.
Hmm. Yes, you take general equation circle, then
Sir, and we substitute the 2, 0 and 0, 2. We get 2 equations.
yes, and
And the circle will touch the given circle with orthogonally.
okay, that's what we don't say. Orthogonally intersects. Okay.
Intersects.
Okay, we apply one
We
condition.
get
Okay. While apply orthogonal condition, look at the circle equation here. Do I need to take care of anything? The given circle is 2x square plus 2y square plus 5x minus 6y plus 4 equal to 0. While applying orthogonal condition, I have to take care of anything?
Sir, we will divide it by 2.
Yes. All right. So we got 3 equations and 3 unknowns. We'll get GFC value. So put it back. That's fine. All right. Okay. Even section 3, if you look at first question or second question, it is the same. All right. For example, if you look at section 3, second question, they said you should intersect 2 circles orthogonally, and the diameter along the line means center should lie on so and so line. So again, all these are about simply take the general circle. If it is orthogonal condition, apply it. If it passes through one point, apply that condition. If center should lie on so and so line, apply that condition. You get 3 equations and 3 unknowns. Okay. But there are some easier methods for some of these questions. In IP exam, either you do easy way or lengthy way, they'll give same 7 marks only, at least for some questions. But for that, some more theory I will discuss. I will discuss it. But I'll explain a little bit about orthogonality a little more and then go. Okay. If you take a circle, take an external point and draw 2 tangents. And this is the radius here, and this is the radius. 90 and 90. As I said already, if you take this as the center, this length of tangent as the radius, that is the circle which intersects this orthogonally with this as the center. Why? Because this and this are perpendicular. If you take this as the center and this center as the radius, that circle will be like this. Okay. And you can easily see this line is the normal to this circle and tangent to this circle. And this line is normal to this and tangent to this circle. We have drawn such that it is tangent. Okay. So just remember this point that from an external point as a center, if you want a circle cutting this circle orthogonally, simply take length of tangent as the radius and this as the center, draw the circle that will intersect orthogonal. Okay, I'll give you two circles. Anyone want to tell me how many circles will be there intersecting this and this simultaneously orthogonally? I want a circle, you should intersect this also orthogonally, you should intersect this also orthogonally. Like that, will the circles will be there or will not be there? If they are there, how many will be there?
Sir, infinite.
Okay. Anybody want to say there will not be a circle? Or anybody want to say there will be only unique circle? Or only two circles? Okay. So just like that you said infinite, or you want to give some explanation?
My explanation may be wrong, sir.
It's okay, try it.
Sir, once draw the mark the centers of the circles. Sir, generally put a point, sir, in space.
Okay.
Once draw the tangents to both of the circles, sir. Sir, here length of the tangents, all tangents should be equal, no, sir.
Oh, you want to take a point such that length of all tangents are equal.
Yes, sir.
These two are equal separately, these two are equal separately. Whether these two are equal or not, it is up to us to decide.
Sir, but we should find the locus of the point in which those four tangents are equal, no, sir.
Okay, okay. So what should I do now?
We will C1 C3 whole square minus R1 square equals to C1 C2 whole square minus R2 square, sir.
Yes, correct. Okay, agreed.
We will have infinite points.
Okay, so basically, identify a point from which length of tangent to this circle and length of tangent to this circle are same. If you can identify a point, now it is very easy. Take that as the radius and draw a circle. Just now we discussed already. From an action point, if length of tangent is radius, that is the required circle intersecting this orthogonally. If you want to intersect this orthogonally, from this center, length of tangent to this should be equal. So if at all there is a circle intersecting two circles orthogonally, from the center, length of tangent to this circle and length of tangent to this circle should be same, and that should be the radius of this circle. Like that, if you can identify, if you think that there are infinite such points, you will get infinite such circles. Okay. Forget about this. Let's say I gave two circles. Okay. There is a point from where length of tangent to this and this are equal. Okay. Length of tangent to first circle, length of tangent to second circle are equal. Like that, there will not be one point, there will be infinite points. Okay. That's why here we are telling infinite answer. Anybody want to tell what is the locus of this point from which length of tangent to two given circles are equal? What will be the shape of that?
Sir, straight line.
Straight line. Okay. Anybody want to tell anything else? I am looking for shape of locus of a point from which length of tangent to two given circles are equal.
Straight line, sir.
Sir,
Right.
circle, sir, circle.
Circle.
Straight
Okay.
line.
Okay.
Sir,
Sir, we
Yes,
will get
please.
straight
Straight
line only,
line.
sir.
Okay. Why straight line? Anybody want to give an explanation? Or just you feel like that?
Sir, C1, C3. Sir, C1, C3 minus R1 square equals to C2, C3 minus R2 square, no, sir.
Hmm.
Then x minus x1 whole square plus y minus y1 whole square plus R1 square equals to x minus x3 whole square plus y minus y3 whole square plus R2 minus R2 square, sir.
Yes,
X
correct.
square terms will be cancelled. No that is not second degree equation. It is only first degree, sir.
Yeah, that's correct. If this is s equal to 0, this s dash equal to 0, this is x1, y1. This length of tangent is root s1. This length of tangent is root s dash 1. Remove the root, bring one side, we'll get s minus s dash equal to 0. X square terms will cancel, y square terms will cancel. Okay. Basically, it is like the locus of this point is nothing but subtract the two circles, you'll get a line, it is that line only. Why it is a line? Because x square terms got cancelled, y square terms got cancelled. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think in pure geometry, this is difficult to prove. Okay, 9th class or 10th class, if they say two circles are there, there is a point from which length of tangents are equal. Like that, there are a lot of points so that they form a line. I think it is difficult. Here it is just like that we can see. Okay. There is a name for this line, so I want to give the definition. So we discussed orthogonality and system of circles. First exercise, all questions you can do done by the two formulas basically. All right.
Sir,
Please.
sir, can we say it will be perpendicular to line joining C1, C2?
Yes, it will be. It will be. Maybe I can show that also. There's a little side point, but I'll show you that. Since he said, I'll tell you. Let us say there are two circles. This is C1, this is C2. Different radius. There is a point, not the midpoint, somewhere. This length of tangent and this length of tangent are equal. I'll take that. I'll call it as E. I can prove to you that you take a perpendicular line here and take any other point. Definitely from there, length of tangent to this length of tangent have to be equal. I can prove it. You are making exactly that only. That line will be perpendicular to line joining centers. But I'll prove it to you simply by Pythagoras theorem. But let me define something else. Okay. I'm going to use a new word. We're going to define it. Radical axis. If locus of the point, whose powers with respect to two given circles are equal. Locus of point whose powers with respect to two given circles are equal is a line, and it is called radical axis of the two circles. Okay. If there is a point if power of that with respect to first circle and power of that with respect to second circle are equal, like that there will be a lot of points and locus of all of them is the line, and that line is called the radical axis of the two circles. That is the definition. Next one point. Radical axis of circles S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0 is S minus S dash equal to 0. Proof. Let a point on locus be x1 comma y. Powers are equal. Implies S11 equal to S dash, which implies S11 minus S dash 11 equal to 0. So locus of x1 comma y1 is S minus S dash equal to 0. Okay, this is the power with respect to first circle, power with respect to second circle. We got an algebraic condition. When you want locus, remove x1, y1 and write x comma y. Within s11, if you remove x1 comma y1 and put x comma s, similarly to s dash. Radical axis is always perpendicular to line joining centers. Actually, this right in the beginning I mentioned s minus s dash equal to 0 is a line and it will be perpendicular to line joining the centers. If you want to prove it, you simply find slope of this and the slope of the line joining center, so you get product of slopes is minus 1. I don't have to write a proof, not necessary. Okay, everybody completed up to here?
Yes, sir. Wait.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes, please.
what is the second line in proof?
Second line is proof. Powers are equal implies S11 equal to S dash 1.
Yes, sir.
So basically what is very simple. If a point is there whose power with respect to first circle, whose power with respect to second circle are equal, the locus like that there will be a lot of points, and when you join all of them you will get a line, and that line is called radical axis of the two circles. And how to find the radical axis, subtract the two circles, you will get that. But this S minus S dash equal to 0 is not a new formula to us. We discussed earlier that when two circles are touching externally or when they are touching internally, when you subtract them, you will get the common tangent. And when two circles are intersecting, we said S minus S dash will be common chord. Okay. Of course, when one is inside the other, when you subtract, some line will come. You may not know what it is. When two circles are completely separate, when you subtract, some line will come. We may not know what it is. But we know S minus S dash equal to 0 is a line. It will be this line here, it will be this line here, it will be this line here. It will be some line here, it will be some line here. But we know about these three right in the very beginning of the circle chapter. But then we are telling this is also radical axis. So anybody want to give me an explanation that you take the subtract this to get common chord, you take any point on the common chord without using this formula that this is a radical axis. Is it possible to prove that the power of this point with respect to this circle and with respect to this circle will be equal? Or here, you take any point here, is it possible to prove the power of this point with respect to this circle and this circle, they are equal? Any comments?
Sir, for first two circles we can prove, sir.
How?
Sir, let the point of intersection of two circles be A, sir, and this point be C.
Okay, let's say I'll call this as A, this as B, this as C. Okay.
Sir, BC must be BO equals to OA, sir. PB equals to PA equals to PC, sir. We can prove.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Power is nothing but square of length of tangent. Am I correct? Because length of tangent is root S1 which is square root of the power. So instead of proving power equal, if I can prove lengths of tangents are equal, it is done. Here obviously lengths of tangents are equal because PB and PA are equal because they are lengths of tangent to same circle. PA and PC are equal because they are also lengths of tangent to same circle. So I can say PB equal to PC. That means from P, the length of tangent to first circle and the length of tangent to second circle are equal. Means root S11 equal to root S dash 11. So S11 equal to S dash 11. In fact, I don't need P and C. PA is length of tangent to first circle also, length of tangent to second circle also. So lengths of tangents are equal means powers are equal. So it should lie on radical axis. So anything here. But anyone want to tell here why from this length of tangent to this should be same as from this length of tangent to this? You take any point on the common chord, why from that length of tangent to both the circles are equal.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, we will draw a tangent from that point to that smaller circle.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
PT square is equal to PA into PB, no, sir?
Yes, correct.
And then PT2 square is also equal to PA into PB. So PT
Yes, PT1 square is also PA into PB, PT2 square is also PA, same PA into PB. Yes. So that's why lengths of tangents are equal, so powers are equal. In fact, PA into PB itself is called power, right?
Yes, sir.
If you take a circle and a point, what is power means? Of course, d square minus r square is power, but if you draw a tangent chord, this length is to this length, the product is power. And that's and this one intersecting the chord here and here are same AB only. So PA into PB is power of P with respect to first circle also, power of P with respect to second circle also, and they are equal. Okay. That's why the common chord and radical axis are matched. Okay, let us say something else now. Let us say two circles are completely separate. This is a direct common tangent that will have one midpoint. Can I say this point should definitely lie on radical axis of these two circles?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because from that length of tangent to first circle and length of tangent to second circle are equal means powers are equal. So it should lie on the radical axis. You take one transverse common tangent, that also will have one midpoint. Can I say that also should lie on the radical axis of these two circles?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, there will be another transverse common tangent. That also will have one midpoint. That also should lie on radical axis. There will be another direct common tangent that will have one midpoint. Even that also should lie on radical axis. Can I say now all these 4 points should be collinear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you remember I asked this question earlier. The midpoints of the two direct common tangents and the midpoints of the two transverse common tangents. Do you think they'll form an isosceles trapezium or they'll be collinear? They'll collinear because they all lie on radical axis. Right? And I also said earlier, when you subtract these two, get this. When you subtract these two, get this. When you subtract these two, get this. When you subtract two circles, you get a line. If you want to know something more about it, I said I'll tell later. That is this. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll just write one or two of these lines about this. If two circles are touching, common tangent at point of contact, or a common point, okay. Common tangent at point of contact is radical axis. You can draw a figure like this, or you can draw a figure like this. And we'll also give a little bit explanation. This is T1, this is A, PT1 equal to P, PT2 equal to P. PT1 square equal to PT2 square equal to PA square. So power of P with respect to both the circles, right? Okay, so why common tangent is identical to radical axis? We are giving a different explanation. Okay, everybody finished? Satya Pawan, are you there in the class? Roll number 56.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are able to follow comfortably?
Yes, sir.
Okay, finish this whole thing or still take copying?
Writing, sir.
Ahijit, are you there? Ahijit? Gunamant, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Okay, you're able to follow comfortably?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In mains, up to where you tried, Gunamant? Mains material?
Sir, up to like 50 like that, sir.
Still there only. We reached around 80.
Sir,
60.
I was doing IP, sir.
Okay. IP finished exercise 1D?
Yes, sir, almost.
Okay. See, this is for everybody. As I said, per day I'm teaching 2 hours. So obviously you should spend more time on maths. As well, when I'm teaching 2 hours, I'll be finishing a lot. And if you don't work, I'll finish the lesson, but you don't finish your exercise. Especially this online situation is very dangerous. Without knowing, a lot of time will be wasted. For example, you open WhatsApp for opening the class, but somebody will put a message, somebody will put something in status, and our fingers will go uncontrolled, go here and there. Okay, somebody will send some YouTube link, Facebook link, this and all. So normally phones may not be there with us for so many hours, but now for the purpose of studies, they'll be there, but we can easily get distracted and waste hours. Am I correct or wrong?
100%.
So we have to just be careful. Right. Actually, normally people talk about, so many villages and all, there's no internet connection and, Wi-Fi and all these things. And earlier in India, internet was very slow. That's why we are not advanced. I think we are not degrading at that time. People are now, with the more internet speed, the more quickly they are into different traps. Just click off a button, you can be completely in different world. Just a touch. Actually, all these are very dangerous things, but we are using them. Okay, the mobile phones and all these good high-speed internet and all, very, very dangerous, because most of the people are immature. They don't know value of the things, and mostly they misuse. Okay. Okay, everybody finish this? Okay. Let us say they're intersecting. Like this, of course, they can also intersect like this. That means this is semicircle. Can be. So two centers can be on either side, same side, doesn't matter. if the two circles are intersecting, common chord is the radical axis of the two circles. Okay. If they're touching, common tangent and common point is radical axis. If they're intersect, common chord is radical axis. I want to give an explanation. You can write PT1 square equal to PA into P. PT2 square equal to PA into P. From this, PA into PP is same as P1 square, same as P2 square. So, power of P with respect to both circles. Okay. So, if the powers are equal, that is basically radical axis definition. So, you can write this also. The two circles are intersecting. Common chord is the radical axis of two circles, of the two circles. Okay, everybody completed this? Saket completed?
No, sir. My internet is slow. I'm unable to see the board here.
Jahnavi, are you there in the class? Yes, Taruna, you completed this?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
If the two circles are exterior to each other. Then midpoints of 4 common tangents are collinear. And lie on radical axes of the two circles. If the two circles are exterior to each other, then midpoints of 4 common tangents are collinear and lie on radical axes of the two circles.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, today who will upload the notes, sir?
Why she was not there, Anushka?
Yes, sir, she is absent.
Okay, then Lokesh will upload. Okay, number who is it? Magavan you want to do? Okay, do Magavan. You'll do it right, Magavani?
Yes, sir.
Where do you stay, Magavani? Which area?
Typical.
Which area?
MVP.
MBPH. Okay. What is this Walte Park? That is it a quarters given by HPCL?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Like
so
functions will be happening there.
So you don't go, you don't get a flat there.
No, sir, we don't live there. Sir, how do you know?
No, it is next to that HPSL office. So somebody told me it was quarters there. So other day when I was going the other side, so I thought maybe you stay there. Okay, everybody finish this?
Sir, wait, sir, my network is very bad.
Okay. Okay, what I'm discussing is not so important. But generally, anything that I prove by coordinate geometry, as far as possible, I want to prove by pure geometry. That's why I'm doing this. If somebody doesn't want to write, it's okay. Okay. Like I just basically want to prove by pure geometry that why radical axis be a line perpendicular to the line joining centers. That is, if at all there is a point from which length of tangent to both are equal on the line joining centers, if there is any other point where lengths of tangents are equal, PQ should be perpendicular to this. Or if PQ is perpendicular to those people, I want to prove that. So I am taking PT1 equal to PT2, and I have to prove QA equal to QB, provided PQ and this are perpendicular. What if PT1 square means? PC1 square, I think it is minus CT1 square, not this. Minus CT1. And P2 square is this. Okay, we got result, we'll keep it there. QA square will be QC1 minus C1A square. This will be minus C2B from this right angle triangle. So there will be one right angle triangle like this. And there will be one right angle triangle based on that. Okay. And then this is minus R1 square minus R2 square. But what is QC1 square? QP plus PC1 square. What is QC2? QP square plus P2 square. I wrote that. QP same cancel. That is same QP cancel. And we got this and this as already known equal. So whenever PA and PB are PT1 and PT2 are equal, even QA and QB should be equal. Saket, is it okay? Why radical axis should be perpendicular to line joining centers based on pure geometry? You may not be there. It's okay. As I said, if somebody doesn't want to write, it's okay. Nagamani will definitely write because she's uploading the notes later on. But others, just for the satisfaction by pure geometry, I wanted to do it. That if from one point lengths of tangents are equal, you take any point perpendicularly, from there also it's equal. Sachinana, is it okay? Sriharsha, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Dinesh Chandu, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Magavani, if you completed, tell me.
Yes, sir, completed.
Okay. Okay. Radical axis of two circles is perpendicular bisector of line segment joining centers. If and only if the two circles have same radius. Basically, somebody may ask, if there are two circles like this, and this is the radical axis, we agree now that it is perpendicular to line joining the centers. This is correct. But will this be midpoint? Obviously, no, if the radius are different. Why? If really these lengths are equal, how can lengths of tangents be equal? They can't be, because this square minus r1 square, this square minus r2 square are the lengths of tangents. If these two are same and r1 r2 are different, how can these two be same? It can't be. Okay. So if you want midpoint, means already these two lengths are equal, and you want these two to be equal, even these also should be equal, the radius should be equal. Only when the two circles are of same radius, then when you subtract, you get directly the perpendicular bisector of line joining the centers. In fact, if this radius is more, even this also has to be more, so that this square minus this square will be equal. That's what I wrote. Radical axis of two circles is perpendicular bisector of line segment joining centers, if and only if the two circles are same radius. Okay, everybody clear about this point? This is an important point. If a variable circle intersects two given circles orthogonally, then the locus of center of variable circle is radical axis of the two given circles. Okay, if two circles are there and there are lots of circles intersecting these two circles orthogonally, when you join all these centers, what we get is the radical axis of the original two circles. We'll prove it properly. Write the statement, then we'll write the proof. All of you, please put down your videos, everybody. Okay, I want to discuss two proofs for this. So we have two circles, and there is another circle intersecting both of them. This circle is P, 1, 3. Let P be the center of variable circle. Let P be the center and R be the radius of variable circle. We already discussed in the beginning today that if a circle is there and a point outside the circle is there, somebody wants a circle with this as the center and intersecting this orthogonally. You just draw two tangents and take that length as the radius and draw a circle. That's how you will find. So here R should be PT1 at the same time PT2. That is R square equal to PT1 square equal to PT2 square. What is this PT1 square? Power of P with respect to circle 1. What is P2 square? Power of P with respect to circle 2. Whenever power of a point with respect to two circles are equal, then that is the definition of radical length. So, locus of P is the radical axis of the circle. Okay, so what we done is very simple here. If a circle is intersecting two circles orthogonally, or even one circle orthogonally, from that center, length of tangent to that circle should be radius. So this length of tangent is also radius, that length of tangent is also radius. From a point, if lengths of tangents are equal, their squares are equal, and PT1 square is called S11. Powers are equal, so the locus of P is the radical axis. Lakshmi, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yashashwini, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Method 2, let us take s1 equal to x square plus y square plus 2g1x plus 2f1y plus c1 equal to 0. S2 equal to second step x square plus y square plus 2g2x plus 2f2y plus c2 equal to 0. Let p be x1 comma y and a variable circle be x square plus y square minus 2x1x plus minus 2y1y plus c equal to 0. Okay. So this variable circle, I am assuming center is x1, y1. I have to find locus of that. I know center, but I don't know radius. Instead of taking radius, I take the constant plus c. So this is always a circle with center x1, y1. Now this circle should intersect this orthogonal. I will get one condition. This orthogonal I will get another condition. Okay. So when I apply orthogonality condition for these two, I will get 2g1 minus x1, 2f minus y1 equal to c1 plus c. And these two are intersecting each other orthogonally. I am not writing the statement. It's not even writing. Since 1 and 3 are intersecting orthogonally, you can write this. Since 2 and 3 are intersecting orthogonally, you can write this. I am not writing the statement. 1 and 2. Here we get 2g1 to g2 minus x1 to f2 minus y1 to c2 plus. Now when I subtract these two, what I will get? I will get minus 2x1 common g1 minus g2 minus 2y1 common f1 minus 2 equal to c1 minus c2. If I set everything that side, what is the locus I get? Okay. 2 into g1 minus g2x, 2 into f1 minus 2y plus c1 minus c2 equal to 0. This is exactly s minus s dash equal to 0. Yes. The locus of px comma y is this, which is radical x of the given two circles. Okay. So there is a circle intersecting these two orthogonally. The locus of center of that I have to prove it is radical x. I took that circle as center x1 y1, some radius, the constants. These two orthogonality condition, these two orthogonality condition. 2g g dash plus 2f f dash equal to c plus c dash. That's the formula. And then when I subtract these two, I got an algebraic condition without that variable c. Because the c is varying, I change remove. Now, what is locus of x1 y1 means remove x1 right x, remove y1 right y. You can see it looks like exactly the difference of these two, s minus s dash equal to 0. So it is radical x of the two circles. Most of the questions are about orthogonality, not so much about radical x. Don't spend so too much time because to understand that's all. Otherwise, in the questions we may not use radical x so much. Have you understood the second proof?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Vanessa Anton, you're able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Vanessa, you have finished exercise 1D?
No, sir, I'm still doing.
Sir, sir,
Yes.
the second proof also tell again. Sir.
Second one is very simple. The two circles we took these two equations. This circle and this circle. There's one more variable circle. I'll take center as x1 by 1. And I don't know radius. Because I don't know radius, I have to constant as some c, but you can say center is x1. This and this should intersect each other orthogonally. Condition 2g t dash plus 2f f dash equal to c plus c dash. These two should intersect each other orthogonally. Again, 2g g dash plus 2f f dash equal to c plus c. But c is variable. I don't want it, so I subtract. I want locus of x1 comma y1. So I remove x1, put x, remove y1 and wrote y. I got a line. You can easily see that line is difference of these two. So we proved that the locus of center of a variable circle which intersecting these two orthogonally is radical x of these two circles.
Yes, sir.
So basically what we discussed here is today we discussed about angle between two circles and if they are intersecting orthogonally, what is the condition? These are the two things we discussed. Next, what we talked about is if there are two circles, if there is a point, the power of that with respect to this circle and this circle are equal. The locus of that point is a line, and that line is called radical x of these two circles. But it so happened that if you take the radical x and take any point on that, length of tangent to this and length of tangent to this will be equal. And if you take that as the radius and draw a circle orthogonally, that will intersect these two also. So draw a circle with this as the center, this is radius. That circle will intersect this also orthogonally, this also. Okay. Not related to anything. You can do somewhere in the rough. Just I want to observe one thing. I want to discuss one continuation of this concept, but hardly few minutes left, so we'll do tomorrow. Draw some in rough place somewhere a scalene triangle. Just draw a scalene triangle. You can draw acute or obtuse, anything good. I prefer to draw acute, but not isosceles for sure, not right angle triangle necessary. Right? Draw a circle with these two as ends of diameter. Draw a circle with these two as ends of diameter. And draw a circle with these two as ends of diameter. Just rough figure only. Draw a scalene, preferably acute angle triangle. Take each side as the ends of diameter and draw circles. Just draw 3 circles.
Yes, sir.
Okay, finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These circles, where are they intersecting? They are intersecting at these 3 vertices, but they will be intersecting somewhere else also. Try to mark those points. Out of the 3 circles, you take any 2 of them and see where they are intersecting. Take another 2 of them, see where they are intersecting. Take another 2 of them and see where they are intersecting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, some of you might have drawn your figure correctly, some of you might have not drawn. Let us take y. So first of all, I said take a scalene acute angle triangle. Take these two as ends of diameter, draw a circle. Take these two as ends of diameter, draw a circle. Take these two as ends of diameter, draw a circle. These two circles will intersect here and then one more point. These two circles will intersect here and one more point. These two circles will intersect here and one more point. If you are drawn properly, purpose I am drawing altitude first to explain a point. If you take a circle with these two ends of diameter, should it pass through this point and this point because the angle in a semicircle is 90?
Yes, sir.
So your circle should be like this. And if you take these two as the ends of diameter, because this is 90, this is 90, that circle should pass like this. Okay. So this circle and this circle where they should intersect is on this side. And this common chord should be altitude of the triangle. Okay. So anybody drawn properly like this? Okay. So sometimes when you draw freehand, we don't observe. Okay, like we may draw a scaling triangle and this answer. Many people might have drawn like this. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But it has to intersect this side. Like this, and that should be the altitude. Next, if I take this and this as ends of diameter, that should pass through this. Okay, this. So when you take this circle and this circle, this is the common chord, they intersect here. When you take this and this, they will intersect. Okay, just rough figure only, so nothing to worry. Okay, we'll use it later on, but don't have to draw in the class. Okay, let us say I take three circles completely separate like this. Is it possible to have a circle intersecting all three orthogonally?
Sir, what, sir?
I'll give you three circles of different radius. Is it possible to have a circle which will intersect this one also orthogonally, this one also orthogonally, this one also orthogonally?
No, sir.
Okay. But have you not seen in the IP first exercise system of circles? I asked a question. Three circles are there. There is a circle intersecting all three orthogonally. Find that. We took the general circle x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2y5 plus c equal to 0. Applied orthogonality to the first circle, second circle, third circle, three equations and three unknowns. That means there will be a circle, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir. There will be a circle.
Yeah. So we took the general circle and apply orthogonality here, three equations, three unknowns. We'll do it, we'll get answer. But there is some easier method. How to find center of that circle and how to find the radius of that. Okay?
Is it at the center?
No, it is not ortho. Okay? It is not circumcenter, it's not in center. It can be anything. It can be ortho center of sometimes, it can be circumcenter sometimes, it can be in center sometimes, but not anything fixed. If you want to know what is that point, how to identify the center of the circle which is intersecting all three orthogonally. Okay?
The point of intersection of radical axis of.
Yes, correct. You're right. Okay. So there's a name for it and all. Tomorrow we'll discuss about it. All right, we'll stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.